Hello. Hello, my friends. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Hi. For those of you tuning in for the first time to any of my videos, my name is Shakti, and I have been absent from the going live space in a minute, and this is a return. So I'm just going to take a second to make sure that this video is actually live everywhere it's supposed to be and visible. And then we will jump right into what's going on, having a conversation. All right, great. It is. Please say hello as you're hopping on. Please note that because this is going live in so many different spaces, I may not see all of your comments. However, I will make it a point to revisit the comments in all the different locations when I am done. And then we can have more of a conversation in the comments. So if you are watching this, please comment below. If you're watching the replay, comment that you're watching the replay. Where are you watching from? It's always a lot of new, amazing humans that end up in my field in these spaces, and so it's always lovely to meet you and connect with you. And if you haven't been around for a while and you're coming back around, welcome, hello, welcome back around. So this particular conversation that I wanted to have today, I'm going to give a little bit of backstory. Because for those of you who are OGs and have been around a long time, y'all know that one of my favorite things to do is be live and do live videos. And I've done them for years. My son will be 9 this year. And as soon as he was a few months old, I was on the internet, going live very often, having a lot of conversations. I love to teach in this space. I love to connect in this space. And over the past few months, there's been a quieting that's been happening, a deep quieting inside of me. And almost like a hermiting, a turning inward that was really kind of out of the blue. It was really unexpected. It just happened, And then I was like, wow, I have all these ideas of things that I would like to come on and share. And I see a lot of conversations happening on the internets. And I have so much to say about these conversations that are happening, electromagnetic storms and all these things, aurora borealis, real, not real, whatever. And then I never say anything. And I just kind of hang on and hang on and hang on. And so today, after listening to an astrologer that I really love, Pam Gregory, she was talking about the magnetic resonance on the planet. And I was like, okay, it's time. It's time to go online and have this conversation and just help some people put into frame of reference what's actually going on and why they might be feeling differently than they're acclimated to or used to feeling. So I'm going to keep this very layman's terms because the science of it, for some of you, may not matter at all. I'm very big on how do we use anything that we know and not so much getting into the details of things that could just be a rabbit hole. Right now, we are experiencing unprecedented mass solar flares that we've never lived through before. So in the simplest way possible to share this, there is no precedent, no example of what we are currently living that has ever happened before in terms of solar flare, in terms of its impact on our magnetic field, in terms of its impact on us as humans on this planet. This has never happened before. We've never navigated such dramatic changes in resonance field. We've never survived anything like this. So naturally, you can imagine that this is a very destabilizing effect on all humanity. Okay. For those of you who are maybe not up to like energy language, or you don't really have to be, you might have noticed that in the past few months, and especially in the past few weeks, you just feel odd. You physically feel odd. Your energy levels are weird, not sleeping, hyperactive mind more than is common for you. Maybe you just feel off kilter, off center, and you don't know what that is. You just don't feel like yourself. For some of you, you might have this accelerated experience of reality where all of a sudden things are becoming really clear to you, really obvious to you. You're like opening your eyes to these things that you've not looked at before. But there's definitely a shift in how you've been and how you are being now happening in bodies. Okay. And for those of you who are really receptive, this shift in energy has led, I've noticed, to a hermiting effect. There's been a deep quietude that has come upon us, those of us who are like clued in to what's happening in the field, because it's just a lot. It's a lot right now. So I want to speak to that and what I've been doing to handle that. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Kylie. And how to work with that. One of the very first things that I've noticed I wanted to do starting a few months ago was really take care of my physical body. I was looking at ways in which I was out of integrity in my physical body, where I was kind of lapsing in taking regular care of her or being clued into her. And I happen to have in my human design a defined spleen. Defined spleen people have this really terrible habit because we have a general sense of natural well-being, of ignoring physical immune system related issues until it becomes a really big problem. And that's because we have a naturally very robust immune system. And so we don't really have to look at something until it's a really freaking big problem. And so I fall into the category of people who have a tendency of doing that with my defined spleen. And I was just really coming to terms with something is out of integrity here. My body is not feeling its best. I definitely could be doing more. And it was time to hire expert help because I felt capped and limited in what I was capable of giving myself in terms of accountability, in terms of resources, in terms of all the things. So I have now hired, hello, Natalie, a team of experts who I not just train with, but who are responsible for my nutrition and who provide this space for me to go and train. And it was a big investment for myself and my partner. We were both doing it. And at the same time, I have immediately noticed a difference in the way that I show up in all of these areas of my life because I have now hired help and because I now have skin in the game. So because I now have skin in the game and I'm like, I better show up because I'm paying these people, I do. I eat exactly what they tell me to do. I work out exactly the way they tell me to work out. Like I do not flinch because I got skin in the game. It's different now. Okay. Hello, Hillary. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to take stock of where you are out of integrity. If it's in your physical body, if it's in your emotional body, if it's in your mental body, if it's in the way that you're doing business, if it's in the way that you are parenting, if it's what is going on that is like a red flag right now in your life, like need help, need support, need something. Okay. Because one of the things I'm recognizing about this changing field, the electromagnetic resonance in the field, is that the hypersensitivity that's coming forward is a lot, a lot. And it's these things that we've been able to ignore for an extended period of time, we're not able to ignore those in the same way. There's a reckoning that's happening right now. All right, so come to Jesus moment is happening right now. And you're going to reduce the resistance and the friction that you're experiencing the more you reckon with yourself, the more you come to terms with where you are out of integrity and how to get back in it. Yes, a lot, Kylie. Correct. That's the very first thing I'm going to say. If you have tried to do it yourself and you have not gotten anywhere, it's time to get help. Okay? Help is not for the weak. Help is not because you're not capable or intelligent or strong enough. Help is because you are strong enough and intelligent enough and capable enough to recognize that you can get there faster with help and that you deserve to have support. Okay. So I want to just myth bust this idea that we have to do everything ourselves right now because we don't. We don't have to do everything ourselves. And support is there for a reason. Okay. And as things get more intense, because, oh, and by the way, these solar flares that are happening, this intense shift in the field that's happening has at least another 11-year trajectory attached to it. It's not going anywhere. It's not disappearing. The field is not going to feel any easier to navigate anytime soon. Okay. It's going to get more sensitive. It's going to get more heightened. It's going to get more intense for a lot of us. Okay. Yes. Okay. Help is not for the weak, and you deserve to have support. Of course. Of course. It is not for the weak. Help is about saying to yourself, you know what? I want to be my very best. And my very best can't get there when I'm like dragging all this emotional like baggage or my body's falling apart or whatever the case might be. I just can't get there. It's not working. Okay. Yeah, we're in a level up, a big level up, Kylie. That's exactly what's going down. And so we have to be responsible for where we are out of integrity. And we have to get our stuff together. Have to. Like yesterday. Right? It doesn't mean everything is going to be perfect. It doesn't mean everything is, but we just can't not look at the things that need work anymore. Okay? If you want this to be easier, if you want it to feel like you're trying to, slide down a rock mountain, by all means, you go slide, right? Just be careful. Have arnica ready. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I've been sitting with is the simplification of things in my life and business. When things are very, very complicated, when things are very complex, we naturally become overwhelmed. We do not like complicated. As human beings, we do not like complicated. It's not comfortable for us. The brain gets so overwhelmed when there's so many things to handle. Okay. Hi, Julie. Welcome. Like, we don't even like to pick between two things. Think about that. We don't even like options, like two of them, let alone many of them, because it just completely overwhelms us. And if we're neurospicy, multiply that by at least 10. Hi, Melanie. So the second thing I'm going to offer you is how can you simplify certain things in your life right now? What are you overcomplicating? For me, I'm like combing through my whole business. I'm eliminating half of my offer suite. I'm like deciding exactly where I want to spend my energy and time and how I want to dedicate it to people in terms of work. I'm really getting clear on how I want to homeschool for this next level of my life because now my little one is starting homeschooling. She's starting preschool this year. So my priorities are really shifting. That's a huge thing in my life right now, which is actually going to be number 3, values and priorities. We will get there. But I have to simplify what's going on in my life because I run the risk, especially right now when the levels are so sensitive and everything feels heightened, of running myself into the ground with overwhelm simply because there's too many things on the table. Okay. We cannot be all things to all people. We cannot do all the things all the same way with the same amount of energy, says a projector. I understand. But even a generator has to know what's theirs to take on and not. Okay. Not all things are correct for everybody, even if you have the energy generator. manifesting generator, you might have energy for days. It doesn't mean that you give it to all the people or all the things. It doesn't work that way. Simplification works for everyone. Now, simplifying for someone who's a manifesting generator type might look very different for like a manifestor or projector. I get that, right? A manifesting generator might still have several things on their plate. That's all right, but it's less than there were. And it's more specialized and concentrated. So really look at how you are spending your day, time, energy. Look at what you are saying yes to, or maybe what you're not saying yes to, and consider how you can make everything that much more simple, including your home, the things that you own, your work, the routines, rituals that you have with your kids, with people in your lives, the energy exchange you are giving to all of those things, right? Are you happy with what you've got going on? Or do you feel like you can't really give the energy percentages that you want because everything is too complicated in your life right now? There's too much stuff, right? Which then goes into 3, which is about reevaluating the stage of life that you're in. Call it values, priorities. Yes. Hillary said, I have been working on this for a bit now. I am so grateful to be in Design to Shine to help me focus even more. Thank you. Design to Shine is my course, Human Design for Career and Business, actually Human Design for Purpose. I feel like the most profound messaging coming out of that course is finding purpose in who you are in the world. It is so good for helping clarify you, not you. So good for that. So I'm so glad that you're in there as well for that reason. Values, which I like to refer to as what stage of life are you in right now? I want us to eliminate this idea because we live in a world where everything right now is so convenient and fast. And it's like more of this, faster that, more of this, faster that, right? And especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're on the internet and you're watching all these people like skyrocket and make millions of dollars in 3 seconds and influencers, and like there's this constant barrage of more and more and more and more, faster, 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 have. And I've shared this story a lot, but I'm going to share it again because I feel like every time I share this, someone's like, I needed to hear that. And it's like, not even that long ago, maybe a little over a year ago, I remember being on the internet, scrolling through like Instagram and seeing, all of these women about my age, maybe a little bit younger than I am, traveling all over the world and, making all of this money and just having these incredible launches and hiring these incredible support teams. And I found myself comparing myself to them and being like, oh, why can't I do that? Why can't I have that? Everything feels in my life so heavy. Why? Because I have 2 little kids at home. I have an 8-year-old and a now 3-year-old, and I am their primary parent. While I have support, and I'm blessed to live in a multi-generational home now for the last 2 years, my in-laws live here, my husband works a lot, a lot. I am their primary parent, and a parent is not a grandparent. It's different, right? I take them to all of their things. All of their meals, all of their bedtimes, all the projects, all the homeschooling is me, right? That's my life. And because I was so paying attention to what all these people were doing, all of that started to feel really fucking heavy. And I almost started resenting my own life because I was so externally focused on what someone else was fucking doing with their life. Okay. Hi, Joanna. Welcome. So I'm here to remind you that we all have phases of our life, and I am blessed to have 2 children that are amazing kids that I get to support and homeschool and be a parent to. And in no way, shape, or form is that a detriment to my experience of reality. But because I was so externally focused, it started to feel that way. And so then I wasn't capable of really being as present as I wanted to be because I was pulling my energy out of what really needed my energy in. Okay. This phase of life that I am in is short lived. Those kids will not be little kids forever. They're going to grow up. They're going to be adults. They're going to do their own thing. But right now, I have the privilege of being their parent. And that has to be first. Has to be. That's a phase of life that I'm in. So if that means I can't do XYZ thing right now, then that's what that means. And it is my responsibility to make good with that and to honor my values and the stage of life that I am in and to work within that. Stop looking at what anybody else fucking has because it's going to constantly make you miserable about what you seemingly think you don't have. And start really focusing on how much you have and how you can really organize your time in the world in accordance with your values and the what you've been given right now, what you've been entrusted with right now. Okay. And this is another reason why I love Design to Shine, my course, why I love consulting in human design and teaching it, because what it really does is it helps you really fall in love with who you are. It affords you this deep relationship to self that is so validating and so permeating, and it stops you from looking outside of yourself. That's my goal teaching this, that you become fascinated with who you are as an individual and that you learn to really develop that. Because guess what happens? When you feel this sense of internal validation, when you're really content and solid in who you are, then you go out in the world and you engage with other people from that place of centeredness and contentedness, and you start impacting other people with that energy. And then other people feel like they have permission to do that for themselves. And this is actually how we afford and create change. This, right? It's with each other, right? So, where are you out of integrity right now? What needs to be simplified? What stage of life are you in? And are you meeting that stage? Or are you wishing you were somewhere else? And thereby missing out on what you currently have. These three things are going to be really freaking important for the next decade of our existence on this planet. And if you want to have a smoother ride of your time here, then I implore you to consider those three questions. And that you continuously revisit those questions every 3 months. Every 3 months, where am I out of integrity and what do I need to look at? What can be simplified even further? What stage of life am I in now? And how do I honor that? Every 3 months. Revisit those questions, right? And the overall messaging is, if you need the support, get it. If you really feel like you've done what you can and you're just spinning wheels and you can't see, get help. Whatever help resonates with you most, find it. Yes, Julie, I will repeat these questions again. The first one, where am I out of integrity? Where am I out of integrity within my own being? Am I not paying attention to the health of my body, to the health of my mind, to my emotional state? What is happening? What's clearly screaming at me I am being negligent in some way? The second one is, what needs to be simplified in my life? Could I make my business simpler? Could I make my daily routines simpler? Can I declutter my house more? Can I make my schedules simpler? Right? Simplification, integrity, simplification. And the third one, season. What season of life am I in right now? What season of life am I in right now? What's going on? Did you just become a grandmother? And you're trying to figure out how to be a present grandmother at the same time that you're running a business and your child lives somewhere else? Are you a parent of adult children who are now leaving the home and you're grappling with this reality of like, oh my God, my kids are leaving and this is a whole other ballgame emotionally? Are you a parent of young children like me and you're like, man, I have this business, I have this vision, and I have these little kids, and I'm also homeschooling, and how do I do that? What season of your life are you in? Are your parents transitioning? Are they passing away and you are caretaking for them or finding them help? And that's a massive, massive transition, right? We are all in the middle of a story of some kind. And are we honoring that story or are we trying to run right by it? Right? We can't be all things all the time to all people, y'all. We cannot. And I promise you, if you're here and you want to serve people and you want to show up for people, the most potent you is the you that is really showing up for themselves fully, not rushing through their experiences of life, not trying to ignore the plot twist they're being presented, but actually being present. And then organizing their reality such that they are meeting their own needs. And then they can show up for others and meet their needs really well. Okay. Hi, Jade. Hi, Lana. Welcome. Those 3 questions, where am I out of integrity? How can I simplify? What season of life am I in? Are so critical for this season of the world. If you want to keep your head on straight. The energy is wild and it's going to remain that way for a while. It's not going to ease up. You're going to feel kind of nuts, probably. Do whatever work you can to help you ground, to help you clear your field, to help you restabilize. This is why I'm also changing even the offers that I'm offering. I've been heavily steeped in quantum clearing training, working in the quantum field to facilitate faster healing, right? Than EFT, which EFT is already very fast. Quantum clearing comes up behind that, like, right? And so I have been really trying to anchor down how to bring greater stability and greater. And so my offers are switching to be even more supportive, to be a deeper containers, bringing in this quantum component, offering like personalized meditations that my clients can do at home, right? In between our sessions to help continuously bring them into a state of stability. I'm already switching everything that I'm offering because I'm feeling what's happening. And I want the work to be able to support you through this period of time, which is really intense for all of us, right? So this was on my heart to share now for weeks. And I just been hesitating on pressing live and really, really hermiting. And it was time. It was time to come and open my mouth and communicate these things. And I hope that you walk away from this live, if you're watching it here now, or if you're watching the replay, and you really receive what is being shared and it anchors into your spirit and makes a home there for you to start looking at ways to support yourself during this time. Like I said, solar flares are just kicking up. They are not going to go back down. We are living through an unprecedented version of solar flares, like literally X-class, massive. We've never ever experienced anything like what's happening. So no one can tell you, oh, this, it'll be fine, or, oh, this is what happens when that. We don't know. We don't know because we've never survived this before. And we're like in it for a long while, right? So anything that you can do to support your field, to support your energetic integrity is so important, right? A lot of, spiritual people are saying, we're receiving new codes and we're receiving upgrades, and, genetic reprogramming in a good way is happening. Excellent. For most of us, we're not going to know any of that. We're going to know that we feel like shit and that we're tired and that we're irritable and that, we're questioning our whole lives and our whole purpose and everything that's happening. And these 3 questions will help you stay focused, will help you look at, okay, where am I not paying attention to something that needs me? Integrity. What feels really complicated right now in my life, and it needs to become simpler. What season of life am I in and how do I support that? Those 3 questions. Keep it that simple, right? So if you have any questions after watching this, please post them in the comments. Of course, I always read the comments and I'm happy to answer them. If you want to send me something privately because you don't necessarily feel comfortable adding in the public comments, I totally get that. You're more than welcome to. And I will be sharing a little bit more about what I am offering to bring in more continual support to the collective. So if you're on the lookout for support systems, specifically with energy, emotion, healing, and of course, human design, that's in everything that I offer now. Keep your eyes peeled. I usually talk a lot about that in my stories. All right. So I love you all. I am wishing you a profound shift as we're now moving into the full moon. And know that you are supported. Know that there are so many people out in the world that have what you need to support you. And it's just a matter of connecting the right pieces and finding the right humans. Yeah. And I'll be with you soon. Be well.